Tonight on News 5 Live, 10 years in prison for disgraced attorney Oscar Salgado. Friend kills friend, a tale of two mentally challenged persons. The Kalani Flowers saga is finally over, and the Commissioner of Police mediates Santa Cruz bullying. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
1,067,700 slices of bacon are eaten by tourists each year, stimulating our local economy. Tourism means business.
My name is Waluko Mejia. I'm the General Manager at Copal Tree Lodge here in Toledo, Belize. The Belize Bank service we appreciate most is the Belize Bank ATM and the use of its debit card. It makes it very accessible for our employees here at Copal Tree Lodge. Essentially, they could access the ATM on their way home after work, and also that the local stores accept the use of a debit card.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, June 14th. I am Annalyn Apolonio. Disgraced attorney Oscar Salgado has been sentenced to 10 years in prison after being convicted on March 8 of abetment to commit murder. The punishment, which was handed down by Justice Nigel Pilgrim in the High Court, brings to an end a long drawn-out case against the well-known lawyer. In court this afternoon, family and friends of Oscar Salgado listened intently to the reading of his sentence, as Justice Pilgrim thoroughly outlined how he arrived at the decade-long prison term. Of note is that the trial judge reiterated the fact that Salgado has not shown remorse for the crime that he has committed. In weighing the mitigating and aggravating factors, this was a consideration made by Justice Pilgrim in meting out justice. Outside the courtroom, we spoke with the Director of Public Prosecutions, who said that they are satisfied with the jail sentence that has been given to Salgado.
Our courts dispense justice, so I don't think anybody was expecting injustice today. We are pleased with the sentence, and I think that the decision was well reasoned.
He went above the precedent that's been set of 6 years.
He's not bound by the precedent. I think that we did cite cases to the court in our oral arguments which suggested that while that would be a consideration, it could not have resulted in what was being asked for by the other side.
Are you able to say anything in relation to whether a process is happening right now regarding going before the GLC based on the outcome of this case?
I can't speak in relation to GLC matters.
What happens now given that the appeal is in process?
I believe it will be set for case management, and then orders will be given in relation to the filing of submissions, and then a date will be set for the hearing of the appeal. We think that the ultimate sentence is commensurate with the aggravating and mitigating factors in the case.
What can you say about the fact that the judge stated there are no sacred cows? This was a very serious offense, but he did take into consideration his pro bono cases and how the public views him.
Well, in the sentencing process, the judge must look at the aggravating and mitigating factors of the offense and also the aggravating and mitigating factors of the offender. And so the judge had to go through all of those factors, and it was in fact a mitigating factor that up until this time he was making a significant contribution to the criminal justice system.
Today's outcome was not what Salgado and his legal team were anticipating. On the lower end of the punishment is a 6-year prison term that has been established as precedent. On the upper end is life in prison for abetment to commit murder. Salgado's 10-year sentence takes into consideration the gravity of the crime he has committed. The judge also considered Salgado's contribution to the criminal justice system through his legal practice. But Justice Pilgrim was also clear in pointing out that in the criminal justice system, there are no sacred cows and no one is above the law. We spoke with defense attorney Arthur Saldivar following the sentencing.
It marks the end of the first phase of Mr. Salgado's struggle to vindicate himself. Mr. Salgado is certainly committed in his belief that what has transpired was not in keeping with what was required legally, and as a result of that has endeavored to appeal. So we're at that stage now where we are contemplating the appeal, because there is certainly much to consider in terms of the process. That said, given what the learned justice has articulated, I think what is most appropriate for the public to consider is that he is making it clear from his belief and perspective that no one is above the law, and that what applies to one must apply to all. That is a message that I think should go far and wide, from the streets to Parliament. But suffice it to say, we are now here at an end of this phase for Mr. Salgado. We look forward to the other challenge, and we look forward to a different outcome.
Did you expect a sentence of 10 years, or were you perhaps considering that it would be on a lower scale?
I have no expectations. We fight, we advocate, and whatever comes, we deal with when it comes.
How do you feel about the fact that the judge did not consider that the health of your client should not have factored into his sentence, right?
I don't know that he did not consider it. The mere fact that he mentions it his consideration, the weight that he gave to it may not have been what would have been expected. But again, he's guided by precedent. What we must bear in mind is that once conviction has been arrived at, there are certain parameters that the court must operate within in coming to its decision.
A man was stabbed to death sometime before 10 p.m. on Thursday in Belize City. It happened at the corners of St. Joseph and Nursey Street. Reports are that the victim, Griffith Cadle Jr., was hanging out with someone who ended up turning on him. It is not clear what transpired, but both men were reportedly near a Chinese grocery shop where the two had spent many days socializing. They were last seen walking on St. Joseph Street when the killer produced a knife and stabbed Cadle, who sought to run away but collapsed. News 5's Marian Ali visited the scene and filed this report.
Griffith Cadle Jr. was fatally stabbed on Thursday night in Belize City, in a general vicinity where he had spent most of his days hanging out. This is where the 67-year-old collapsed after he suffered a fatal knife wound. News 5 spoke with a resident of the area who also happened to be Cadle's relative. She told us that he was an easygoing character and was the neighborhood errand man who hung out near the corner of North Sea and St. Joseph Streets.
Cadle my cousin, but he never said nobody. When I said nobody. He kept always he want like coke and cigarette. Because he sit down right out of the Chinese there, and he always they let sit down, but he ain't get killed for nothing. For nothing he get killed, and kill an innocent man for what? Nothing. Yeah, because always he do sit down out there. He go buy for people around here, and you go ask him go anywhere for you. He going. Anywhere he going. So when I see that last night, I say, man, who could have want him dead? Another resident agreed that the victim was not troublesome and was a regular sight in front of the shop.
Cadle a humble man, nice, friendly, bad nobody, everything. He well mannerly, and things like that. Me say a humble man. Okay. Not really bad nobody. A person like that, he not get himself in a problem. He just drink he coke and run the joke and mind he one business. He not really associate with people. He sit down far from people, or he never really stand up wrong or things like that. He keep his distance.
And while residents feel that Cadle did not deserve what happened to him, today the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, told News 5 that both the victim and the suspect had mental challenges.
I don't know if it's going to be a murder because it's a matter between two persons who have mental illness. The victim suffered mental illness, and from what we saw on a video footage, both the victim and the suspects were hanging out together at a particular spot. They left together, and shortly thereafter, the suspect inflicted a stab wound on the victim. At this time, like I said, the suspect recently got out of prison. He served a 10-year sentence, I'm not sure for what. And the court had ordered that he undergo psychiatric evaluation because he have a mental issue. He is currently in police custody, and he is not stable. So police cannot even interview him at this time because of how he is behaving in the cell.
The commissioner indicated that the police have requested assistance from the mental health institution to administer medication to calm the suspect down, after which they're going to send the file to the DPP for a directive. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
The incident happened in the Caribbean Shores constituency, where the Minister of Home Affairs, Karim Musa, is also the area representative. Today, Musa said that it is unfortunate, that is, what happened to Cadle, but he sent a message that we need to look out for our mentally challenged relatives who could be at the mercy of the world and in potentially dangerous situations on the streets.
Everybody in the neighborhood knows Junior well, Mr. Cadle, a retired serviceman, and also somebody who was being treated. But if you know Junior, you would know that he's completely harmless. He's not a threat to anybody whatsoever. And so that came as very shocking news to the entire community, to the Neighborhood Watch group that is extremely vigilant in that area. The Knights, correct. But police, again, were very swift to apprehend the suspect. It is a gentleman. I will not release his name until he is charged, but it is a gentleman who I am told likewise suffers with a mental condition. Apparently he served 10 years in jail already, but he was released about a month ago. This definitely is one of those cases that makes you say we need to do more for our mental patients that are on the streets, that are homeless, that don't have any family. Because if I'm not mistaken, Junior has no family save and except for one brother who lives out on an island and hardly ever comes back to Belize City or to the mainland. And so I think while it is that the Ministry of Human Development, the Ministry of Health is doing an excellent job of tracking our mental patients, I think that we all need to do more for the homeless, for those who are mentally ill, and to try to look out for them as best as we can. I know that this happened very late in the night, but again, we all have our own lives to go home to, and we can't just be monitoring those who are out on the street. But as best as we can, we have to try to look out for them.
29-year-old Joseph Vaccaro walked away from Court of Freeman earlier today after beating a second murder charge. The Belize City resident was accused of the execution-style shooting of a Chinese businessman of 88 Shopping Center in November 2019. Zheng Cheng Lu was shot and killed near Mile 4 on the George Price Highway. Vaccaro learned his fate when he appeared before Justice Derek Sylvester in the High Court. Prosecutor Reese Catus could not proceed with the trial because he was unable to locate the Crown's main witness. The DPP's office noted that the Belize Police Department had also attempted to locate the witness, but those efforts were futile. Catus subsequently entered a case of nolle prosequi, which set Vaccaro free. Coming up, cooler heads prevail in Santa Cruz in the aftermath of a viral bullying incident.
Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it." I went to a school at a wonderful time in America. It was a time when the Ten Commandments hung on the wall, godly principles were taught, and church attendance was encouraged. Often when someone asks me, "Who influenced your life the most?" I have to respond by saying a gray-headed fourth grade teacher by the name of Mrs. Conyers, who was a retired Methodist missionary. She impacted my life for eternity, and yet she probably never knew it. Mrs. Conyers taught by example, but she also showed godly concern. I was reared by God-fearing parents, but we did not go to church very often. This presented a problem for me on Monday because every Monday morning we had to send to the principal's office the percent in our class that attended Sunday school or church. Those with 100% would receive special recognition. Well, since I did not go to Sunday school, my class never received that recognition. Mrs. Conyers became concerned about me and asked if she could pick me up to go with her to church. That was all that it took. I went to Sunday school the very next Sunday, and the next year I gave my heart to Christ, and I have lived for Him and served Him ever since. I will always remember Mrs. Conyers teaching me geography and history and mathematics, but I will also remember her most for pointing me to Christ and to His church. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Discover a shopping experience like no other at the V Department Store. They carry a vast array of products at unbeatable prices. Elevate your shopping journey with affordability, diversity, and accessibility at the V. Conveniently located at 1745 Coney Drive in Belize City.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Benny's is kicking off Father's Day with popping deals for dad. In the month of June, visit a Benny's near you and get store-wide discounts on selected items such as Milwaukee and Axie Power Tools, Char-Broil Barbecue Grills, car care products, Karcher pressure washers, and much, much more. Make dad happy with popping deals for dad in June, only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's, Benny's. Benny's, Benny's.
Summer is almost here, and we're gearing up for the exciting time of the year where kids from all over the country come together and showcase their talent on one stage. The Open Your Eyes stage. Yes, that's right. Summerfest is back.
Join us on June 21st at 6:30 a.m. at the Memorial Park in Belize City for a fun-filled morning. Get ready to see all kinds of talent on stage by kids from all over the country. See you at Summerfest 2024.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
37-year-old Kalani Flowers took a plea bargain when she appeared before Justice Derek Sylvester earlier today. She pleaded guilty to manslaughter almost 12 years after she crashed into her ex-boyfriend Lyndon Morrison, fatally injuring him. In the wake of the deadly incident, Flowers was charged for murder and remanded to the Belize Central Prison. She was eventually acquitted of murder, and the Director of Public Prosecutions appealed the verdict. The Court of Appeal later ordered a retrial. When Flowers appeared before the High Court along with attorney Leroy Banner, she pleaded to the lesser charge of manslaughter and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. But Justice Sylvester, the 5 years that she was on remand, and ordered that the remaining 5 years be suspended, concluding that after 12 years in the criminal justice system, Flowers will not reoffend. With that, she was also able to walk out of the court a free woman. A viral video that captured a 14-year-old boy from Santa Cruz Village being bullied by a group of teenagers has led to a police investigation and mediation. Jose Amador was walking home from school when 4 boys from his village decided to record a video of themselves bullying him. In the video, one of the teens is seen physically assaulting him. Today, we spoke with Amador in the presence of his aunt. He told us that this was not his first encounter with the boys. The Commissioner of Police also traveled down to Santa Cruz Village to meet with all parties involved following a confrontation in the community that stemmed from the incident. We will tell you more about last night's development, but first, News 5's Paul Lopez tells us more about how authorities are dealing with the incident.
14-year-old Jose Daniel Amador is a student from Santa Cruz Village who appears in a viral video being bullied by a group of young men from his school. In the clip, a young man is seen physically assaulting Amador. He did not retaliate.
And teach me if somebody want to give trouble, don't listen to them, just continue your way and don't listen to them.
Why do you think that's so hard for young people to do in this day and age?
Really, I don't know.
Because a lot of young people would have responded differently, correct?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, they will act like protect themselves, of course. Everybody will protect themselves, but I prefer to leave this to the police.
His family did just that. The Belize Police Department detained the young men. This morning, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams was in Independence Village leading mediations between the family of Amador and that of the other boys.
People from all over condemned the video, and upon receiving it yesterday, I gave directive to the police to make sure that they find all those persons who were involved and have them dealt with. So the young men in the video who were doing the bullying were eventually picked up by the police, and they have since been charged for using a computer equipment in order to coerce or bully another. And one of them was also charged for causing harm to the young man.
Amador's mother is a pastor in Santa Cruz Village. According to Compol Williams, she has agreed to have the matter be referred to a diversion program through the court. The Families and Children's Act stipulates that the court must always do what is in the best interest of the children.
I will be asking the court for two things. One will be for the court to order that the children who are a part of the Bullish Act make a visit to prison, to Central Prison. And the purpose of that visit will be for them to be able to get an appreciation of what prison is about, so that they understand that if they continue the lifestyle that they're having in terms of bullying people, where they may end up. Next thing will be to ask the court if the young boys can be the face of an anti-bullying campaign.
Amador's aunt, Wendy Lemos, spoke on behalf of the family.
I think it's for the future and for others also. It's a lesson that everyone needs to learn, that at this young age, doing what they're doing, what is it that they can turn into when they become adults. So this is the correct time. For the law, the police, what they're doing, I am satisfied with what they're doing, what they're going to do. Like my sister, she's a Christian woman. She doesn't want to continue. None of us, actually, not only my sister, but none of our family want this to escalate more, and hence the reason why we are here today.
Why do you think it's hard for young people also to talk about situations? Was it hard for you to talk to your parents about bullying?
Yes, because I don't know how my parents will act and react, and maybe they will say because I look for the trouble, for the problem and things like so.
Yeah, but that wasn't the case in this.
Yes.
Did you know that these boys were videoing?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you think when you saw the video? Did you see the videos come out on social media?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you think?
I think that there was dumb, because that is the proof that they make me something, and I have the case win that because they are bullying me.
We also heard from a family member of one of the boys charged for bullying. Ellsworth Linares is the grandfather of the child charged for harm. He was a part of today's mediation in Independence Village. As a father, when you saw that bullying video, if you've seen it, what sort of emotion does it evoke in you?
Bad. It hurt me. It hurt me. I mean, first thing, I'm a grandson. And what you do to the young man, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And from the time I see it happen, and I understand where the people in the police, put it in the hands of the police, I tell my wife, well, you know what happened? Make the police then do what they got to do. And we, the family, mother, grandparents, auntie, everybody, uncle, they agree 100% that we do wrong. Don't let nobody they try dip on the boy side. And I tell my family, I tell my wife and my daughter, you know what? We do wrong, and if you have to go to court and you have to pay the consequence for it, you have to pay it. I mean, there is no way you could get away from it. It's obvious for everybody to say. I don't know the kind of parent when I say, well, my picnic or my grand picnic, they don't know the kind of picnic there.
There has been an outpouring of support for Amador across social media. Just before our interview with him, he was on the phone with an individual who is prepared to offer him a full high school scholarship. Amador and his family say that what was meant to break him is yielding many positive outcomes.
What do you say to bullies?
That I'd say that I apologize of them because everybody makes mistakes, so I say them apologize.
What do you say to individuals that have been bullied before? What do you say to them to deal with it?
Please not be afraid for tell your parents or your family members and talk to the police or your teachers, to anybody, but talk about it.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
We also heard from Karim Musa, the Minister of Home Affairs, on the matter. Musa is not only the minister with responsibility for the Belize Police Department, but he is also the father of 2 teenage boys. He described the bullying incident as gut-wrenching. Minister Musa says he was the one who requested that the Commissioner of Police intervene in the matter.
Yes, so I saw the video footage of the group of young men who were trailing this, what appeared to be a very humble, innocent young man just walking home, probably from school, I believe, being harassed, completely harassed, violated, his rights violated, to the point where he was actually harmed. I know that the police were very swift in picking up the young man, the aggressor, the one who committed the offense. I believe he has already been charged with harm. And then subsequent to that now, if that was not bad enough, then you see his family members going to try to intimidate the family of the young man who was hit. Now you can see where it is that this young man's behavior comes from if his family is willing to go and intimidate this other family for a clear violation of this young man's rights. That to me is absolutely unacceptable. I know the department has already again moved swiftly to pick up these individuals. They are currently in detention. I think it will depend on whether whether the family wants to press charges, but at the very least, if they do not press charges, I have asked the Compol to please have an intervention, because that type of behavior cannot be countenanced whatsoever, that you can actually feel that you have the power to go and intimidate following a very clear violation of that young man's rights. I didn't know what to expect, but when he hit him, I am sure all fathers felt that. I have 2 sons, one 16 and one 13, and of course you're going to put your son in the shoes of that young man, because my sons are the same. They're not going to interfere with anybody, and they will walk along their merry way. But if somebody is just completely bullying you and harassing you, at some point you thought maybe this young man would have fought back, but that's not in his nature, and you could tell that.
As we said earlier, the incident in Santa Cruz Village did not end with the bullying video. On Thursday night, the uncles of the young man who was seen physically harming Jose Armado confronted Armado's family. Wendy Lemos, Armado's aunt, posted a video to social media showing the confrontation. Today, that matter was discussed during mediation in Independence Village. The young men apologized to the victim's family, and their apologies were accepted. We heard from Lemos, as well as the Commissioner of Police and the father of the men who apologized.
Last night, it was a crazy night for our family. I live in Placencia, 30-something speed bumps to pass over. And when I called my sister, and I heard my sister crying over the phone that she couldn't even talk to me and tell me what was happening, because she was scared. She was traumatized by the behavior of these 3 young men that went over to her house and intimidate them and threaten them that if they don't drop charges, that they're going to come back and kill them. When you heard the word kill, you get scared, right? So everybody got scared. My sister was traumatized. And when I heard her voice over the phone, I wish I was there.
The mother of the young man is a very forgiving person. She's an outstanding woman, I must say. She's a pastor. And we discussed the matter upstairs. The father of those who went to the home last night was also present, and he also had something to say. They all apologized to her, and like I said, she's a woman of God. She's very forgiving, and so they are willing to, both parties are willing to put this behind and see where we go from there. Despite that, we'll monitor to see how it progresses, and we're hoping that everybody is going to keep their word. I have no doubt that the mother is going to keep hers, because she didn't have to participate this morning. She chose to be here. She could have simply said to the police, my son was abused, my son was bullied, I want court action, and leave the court action, the court process to take its course. But she have the best interest of not just her child, but the best interest of the other children, to make sure that they can continue to live a life, perhaps free from violence.
One of the mistakes my son make was so, the guy was say, well, they're going to talk to him, because my oldest son said he know the pa, and a few of the son, one of the sons actually work with my next son and my son-in-law. So he said, they're just going to talk to the people, but I can understand the people and react one kind of way, because they don't know right, and you know what might be your intention. So they act one kind of way, and then for whatever reason, the thing kind of, yeah.
Do you condone that type of behavior?
Absolutely none at all. None at all. I mean, like I said, that's the reason why I come here today. I try to come and put in my little contribution, and if something therefore work it out, and if something therefore encourage whatever, discourage whatever. That's the way I come here for.
After the break, media concerned that freedom of the press is at risk. But first, here's the weather update with data from the National Meteorological Service.
Belize City, the largest city in the country. Our urban haven is home to over 60,000 residents, the financial and commercial hub of Belize. While managing this dynamic city is no easy task, every day the hard-working men and women of the Belize City Council show up and show out to ensure the wheels of our city keep on moving.
Our council has a workforce of over 400 passionate and dedicated workers. We pride ourselves on being people-centric driven while enhancing our internal capacity and capabilities to meet the needs of a bustling city. We recognize that the most important resource we have at the council is our staff. These are the men and women who keep our great city alive.
When thinking of the council, the first thing that comes to mind is street rehabilitation and sanitation.
But we're so much more.
From managing the flow of traffic
to inspecting building safety
and creating resilient public spaces.
People have made their careers here and have been here for over 30 years.
And it's been an amazing journey.
For me, it's about social programs and developing a child-friendly municipality.
Seeing someone's dream become a reality just does something to the soul. That's why initiatives like our accelerator program are so important.
They say when you find something you love, you never work a day in your life.
At BCC, we're not just co-workers, we're a family.
One thing that I hold dear to my heart is that our management team consists of young, driven people, like Mr. Alvarez, who worked up the ranks to become the manager of the largest department in the City Council, the Sanitation Department.
With great performance, there are plenty of opportunities for growth at the Council.
Our team works tirelessly to create memorable and innovative initiatives for our city's residents.
And I am thankful to be a part of that innovation.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to be more and do more for my city.
It's not just about keeping the city clean.
It's about being able to touch the hearts of our residents
and the amazing people we've been able to meet throughout the years.
That makes it worth it.
Belize City Council, a great place to work. Join us in building a better city for today and tomorrow. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
En un mundo impulsado por la tecnología, el programa de becas de Digi abre puertas a infinitas posibilidades. Únase hoy al programa de becas de Digi, donde los sueños se encuentran con la innovación y el conocimiento se transforma en acción.
Mi nombre es Fabián Solórzano, residente del pueblo de Punta Gorda. Tengo 15 años y estoy asistiendo al Colegio Comunitario de Toledo, en el 3er grado. Estoy muy emocionado por compartir con ustedes, futuros estudiantes que planean aplicar para este programa, cómo me ayudó a mí y a mi familia. Yo tuve el privilegio de ser uno de los afortunados de conseguir la beca. Eso fue de gran ayuda para mí y también para mis padres. Debido a la beca, los gastos de la educación y los gastos del día a día fueron más fáciles de equilibrar. A la vez, esto me permite poder mantenerme más enfocado en mis estudios. Digi ve un potencial increíble en nosotros y quieren impulsarnos a seguir nuestras metas. Así que yo quiero invitar a todos ustedes que quieran aplicar, que lo hagan, porque ustedes también pueden ser bendecidos con una beca.
Únase al programa de becas de Digi hoy y embárquese en un viaje de empoderamiento, educación y excelencia. Visite nuestro sitio web para obtener más información sobre cómo puede ser parte de esta oportunidad que cambia vidas. Solicita ahora y libera tu potencial con Digi. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
Summer is almost here, and we're gearing up for the exciting time of the year where kids from all over the country come together and showcase their talent on one stage. The Open Your Eyes stage. Yes, that's right. Summerfest is back.
Join us on June 21st at 6:30 a.m. at the Memorial Park in Belize City for a fun-filled morning. Get ready to see all kinds of talent on stage by kids from all over the country. See you at Summerfest 2024.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Aiwa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Aiwa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Aiwa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Aiwa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Aiwa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
On Tuesday, the Cabinet gave its approval for the submission of legislation that seeks to amend the Criminal Code. This amendment would ensure that the publication of any unauthorized videos, statements, or other materials that are part of an ongoing investigation that may endanger the lives of witnesses or compromise the integrity of an investigation would be regarded as a criminal offense. This announcement drew alarm among reporters who depend on information from several sources to be able to accurately and readily keep the public informed. We sat down with Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa, who maintains that the legislation does not seek to suppress the freedom of the press, but rather protect parties involved in investigation.
On Tuesday, Cabinet met and considered the criminalization of the unauthorized publication of evidence that comes into the hand of police officers who are carrying out an investigation. And I know that the media, are quite justifiably so, is concerned because this includes evidence not only in the form of witness statements, photographs, documents that investigators might have picked up at a particular crime scene, but also video. Video evidence, as we know, is now widely circulated, not just on mainstream media, but also on social media. And so moving forward, we have approved in policy and in principle this criminalization of certain documents, certain videos, certain photographs. And I fully agree with you, and I'm totally understanding of the concern of the media. because there will have to be somewhat of a classification process that investigators will have to go through. Many times, I'm sure you're aware, that videos are put out there even before it gets to the police station. And so, at the point of investigating a particular case, if a matter or a video has already been circulating, the investigator at some point will have to classify that particular video as being the subject of a criminal investigation. And so, moving forward, as we draft the legislation, we have to be extremely crafty in ensuring that we are not trampling on the rights of the media and access of the media to what is considered public video footage or public photographs, while at the same time doing some sort of a balancing act to ensure that we are protecting the integrity of the evidence as well as protecting the victims or the witnesses in a particular case.
The unfortunate incident that occurred at the San Ignacio Community Hospital earlier this month made headlines earlier this week when it was revealed that a group of persons stormed the facility where David Galindo was receiving emergency medical treatment. Galindo was shot on the night of June 1st in Santa Elena town, and he was transported to the hospital in San Ignacio. While there, his family and friends showed up and reportedly made threats to the medical team attending to the wounded man. The incident raised the ire of Cabinet, and earlier today, Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa weighed in on the matter.
I have heard two different accounts of that. There is a police version which they're saying that there was another stabbing that had taken place which they had to respond to. And there is the medical professionals version whereby they're saying that the gang members were banging on the police officer's vehicle. Now, even if you take into account those two scenarios, I don't think that it could necessarily be said that they expected, meaning the police officers expected, that these individuals would have been so brazen as to try to take over the hospital, because that is in effect what they tried to do from the account of the medical professionals. And so I can't say that the police officers knew that was going to happen. And if they knew, then obviously that would be negligence on their part. If they saw the individuals aggressing doctors, aggressing nurses, then they ought to have stepped in, absolutely. When this incident occurred, I believe there was only one report that was made, one of damage to property. Right away, the following day, the individual was charged, taken to the magistrate, and fined, as far as I'm aware, $1,500. There was no other report of threats issued to the medical officers. And so when that news broke many days later, I think it was Jules that broke that news, it wasn't as though the doctors and nurses had complained to the police that something had happened and they did not respond. At least that is my understanding of the situation. And so when it came to light that instead of going to the police, they went to Channel 7 to provide this information, obviously the police had to take very swift action. Cabinet took swift action, because this is absolutely out of order for a situation like that to have occurred at a public hospital. Hence the reason Cabinet has issued its very strong condemnation and strong action of going after these individuals. And at the same time, we're working out a protocol with the San Ignacio Hospital. And then I mentioned to Compal, we cannot wait for it to happen again at another hospital. And so while we're establishing protocol for this one, we might as well try to replicate a similar protocol for all hospitals, because it's completely out of order and we cannot have an incident like this happen again.
The Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital is at full capacity, and according to the Ministry of Health, it is not the only hospital in the country operating under these conditions. Recently, the surgery and ICU units were at capacity, so the hospital sent out an alert informing district hospitals so that they may manage referrals. We asked KHMH CEO Chandra Cancino Nisbet about the situation, and she said that this has been the case for several months. Dr. Jorge Polanco, Director of Hospital Services in the Ministry of Health, told us that situations like these are to be expected because of Belize's population growth and the increase in traffic accidents and violent crimes. However, the ministry is working to alleviate the issue.
This is something that they would usually do to put us at the different other regional hospitals on the alert, and for us to be aware that they would need to take, to be more keen in deciding what patients can be referred to the Calcutianer for different medical emergencies. The reality is this. The context is that a Calcutianer, when it was built, how many years ago? About almost 30 years ago, the population of Belize District was practically half the size of what it is right now. Then apart from that, we have the situation of an increased prevalence of external injuries, road traffic accidents and gun violence. So this in itself is a very specific, I would not say burden, but a very specific demand put on Calcutianer. Persons with fractures that will be there for many days versus, let us say, a delivery that goes in today and you can discharge tomorrow or 2 days after. So these alerts allow us to put more attention at the level of the region, and then that would guide us to decide if we bring in professionals from the private sector to give us a hand to fill those gaps that would be filled. The entire public is aware that plans are to replace the hospital in Belmopan, which has also lived a life. It is very small, the number of beds are limited, and the demand of services have increased. So that fact is tied into the plan of replacing that hospital in Belmopan with another hospital, which will not only have secondary care services, but we will begin to phase in a very gradual manner tertiary care services. So that in itself, on the medium term, will alleviate the issue of Calcutianer having limited space to provide intensive care services or other tertiary care services. San Ignacio is another hospital that has reached its limit when it comes to the capacity to hold patients there on observation. So that's another area that we need to look at.
When we return, Commissioner of Police and Minister of Home Affairs condemned the shooting of nursing dog.
Brothers Abet is celebrating Super Handy Dads for the entire month of June with super handy deals that just can't be beaten. Give that super handy dad the perfect gift from our super selection, like 15% off all power tools and hand tools store-wide, 15% off track car batteries, 20% off Eureka Vats, 20% off Decon Matte Emulsion, and 25% off Valspar and Dutch Boy paints. Plus, for every $50 you spend, get a chance to win $500 worth of tools for 3 super special dads. So give dad his best Father's Day gift yet from Brothers Abet. Come in or reach out to us today. Brothers Abet wishes all super handy dads a super happy Father's Day.
Belize Electricity Limited is pleased to announce the holding of its 2023 Annual General Meeting at the Best Western Belize Biltmore Plaza, mile 3.5 Philip Goldson Highway, Belize City, Belize, on Thursday, June 20, 2024, commencing at 7 p.m. For registration purposes, shareholders are advised to bring along a valid identification, such as a social security card. Shareholders who are unable to attend may choose, and we encourage you to exercise this right, to appoint your proxy, or you can simply appoint the company's CEO or the corporate secretary as your proxy to represent you at the AGM. Furthermore, the company will provide virtual access to the meeting. Shareholders or proxies can choose to participate virtually by visiting the company's website at www.bel.com.bz/AGM on the date and time of the meeting. Shareholders and proxies will be asked to provide their contact information along with an electronic copy of a valid identification. Pre-registration for virtual attendance commences on Monday, June 10, 2024 and closes at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, June 19, 2024. Shareholders may do so either by visiting the company's website at www.bel.com.bz/AGM or by contacting BEL's Securities Officer at 227-0954, extension 1512 for assistance.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include cath lab, adult intensive care unit, neonatal intensive care unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
On Thursday, we told you about a nursing dog that was shot by a police officer on Sapal Street in Belize City. Brenda Lee Riverall, the owner of the dog, says 3 officers visited their home on Wednesday evening seeking the whereabouts of her son for an ongoing investigation, but instead found her family pet and its litter of puppies. The officer claims that the dog was aggressive in nature and in fear for his safety fired a shot, injuring the animal. We spoke with Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa and Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, who told us that the injury to the animal is unacceptable. Here is News 5's Brittany Gordon with that report.
On Wednesday, a family witnessed their beloved family pet, a mother of 10 two-week-old puppies, become severely wounded after a police officer shot her during a search of the pet owner's property. The officer claims that the dog was aggressive and he simply acted out of fear for his safety. However, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams says his actions are unacceptable.
Upon the thing happening the same night in question, I was called by the family and was given information. I put them on to Mr. Romero and direct that the complaint be taken. I know the police, PSB, have taken the complaint, and so the matter is going to be dealt with by a professional standard branch. Certainly, the actions of the police is not one that we are going to condone. We don't think that he ought to have used the amount of force that he used on that dog. And yes, there were reasons for the police to be there, but the amount of force the police used, we believe, was not justified. And so that's a matter PSB is going to be dealing with.
There's like a protocols in place for dealing with in situations like this?
Well, I think that the warning that the lady said she gave the police was a good one. The police ought to have taken precautions and not go in the area considering what was said to them. So when they still went to the area and eventually used lethal force against the dog, that cannot be countenanced, no.
We also spoke to vet technician Ingrid Lima of SAGA Humane Society, who told us that nursing dogs tend to exhibit aggression in order to protect their litter.
Let's talk about dogs that recently have babies, right? Most mom has recently give birth. They acting a little differently, you know. Don't worry, it's normal. Many mothers that display behavioral change after giving birth, and those can range from mild to extreme, and that is a natural behavior in a mom dog, you know. So some are protecting the babies, and sometimes they're just for natural behavior, they're just acting in defense of the babies. The trick is understanding how to deal with the changes and caring for your pet in the meantime.
Lima advised that in scenarios such as these, those unknown to the animal should heed warnings and stay away from the animal.
If the mom doesn't know this person, I will give you an advice like go and talk in a common voice. Give the mom space. That's very, very important. If you know that this mom have her body, like give you, normally a dog give you like a warning. They not just attack just because they want to attack. If you're not the owner or you are a person just the dog doesn't know you, give the dog space. You know, talk to the dog in a calm voice. Don't go or don't go to the area that, you know, the dog know that they're gonna defend the puppies. They're gonna defend the babies. That's before they acted by instinct.
Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa said that the use of a lethal weapon on an animal is not the protocol for situations like these. He said that they have advised the family affected to make a report to the Professional Standards Branch.
I spoke with the commissioner about that because I saw it on social media as well. What the commissioner is saying is that he has encouraged the family that owns the dog to make a report to Professional Standards Branch. I'm fairly certain the officer is saying that he felt under threat from the dog. I mean, pit bulls are considered aggressive in nature, especially one that is nursing. And so you'd have to look at or assess the degree of aggression. Was the dog coming after the officer, or was it just standing in place barking? What prompted the officer to take that additional step of pulling out his service weapon and firing a shot? Very regrettable circumstances all around, but definitely that is something that's going to require an investigation from Professional Standards Branch.
Brittany Gordon for News 5.
It was in May that the People's Constitutional Commission asked the government for an extension to complete its work, and this week the Cabinet approved that request. Cabinet granted the 6-month extension, which now extends the Commission's mandate from May 15th to November 14th. This should give the body sufficient time to properly complete its work. The PCC has been meeting and holding consultations since it was formulated on November 24, 2022. It is tasked with conducting a comprehensive review of the Belize Constitution and carry out an educational campaign countrywide, consultations, and create and maintain a record of the views and opinions shared during the period of its work. The Commission is expected to produce a final report with details of its findings, and that will be presented to the Prime Minister. The citrus industry has endured one of its most challenging periods since it was established over 100 years ago. One agriculture official shared his thoughts with News 5 that while the industry may not return to its glory days, when it was one of Belize's highest revenue earners, it is not going to die. Hugh O'Brien, who is the program officer for citrus diversification for the Ministry of Agriculture, says that coupled with other problems in the past, one major challenge at the end of the last decade was citrus greening. But slowly, citrus is starting to perform better now than recent years.
We're going through a case where Belize was hit hard by citrus greening back in 2009 or 2010, somewhere around there. And citrus greening had its impact slowly, and our industry really started going downhill around 2013 or so. And production has been going down ever since. Last year was our worst year of production in a long time. Probably in about 50 or so years. Last year we did at the factory just over 300,000 boxes of oranges and grapefruit.
That represents how much of the actual
production?
Best years.
Oh, the best years we were at 8 million boxes. Okay, so that's about 1/3 of a million boxes. So it's 1/28 of our previous production. Now, suffice me to say though that despite the fact that CPB received 300,000 plus boxes, 323 if I remember exactly, or 330, both grapefruit and oranges, a new plant, Silkgrass plant, began operation, and they themselves received 40,000 boxes or so. So that's 330 plus 40 is 370, and then on the local market we easily consume about 30 or 40,000 boxes. So it takes us to about 400, and then Guatemala in particular, the trucks are passing because they don't have any oranges. So all the orange juice that you drink in Melchor and Flores at all of these resorts is all coming from Belize's oranges.
Up next, exploring creativity at ITSAT.
Toledo East needs a new representative, and Dennis Williams is the right candidate at the right time. A fresh face, but a seasoned activist.
In 2002, I started with the former Minister of Human Development, Eden Martinez. I was active in the campaign, village to village. In the town council, I supported Mayor Floyd Lino, Mayor Fern Gutierrez, Mayor Ashton.
Wow.
So whenever there's election, I go full force, yes. I go full force.
Having established a close connection with his people, he is ready and able to serve as their area representative.
And I decided that, you know what, I am hearing from them direct. I am already serving the people. If I can do it in that capacity, they will be the first person that I will look after.
A more approachable and compassionate person you cannot find. This, combined with his drive to get things done, makes Disha just the area representative Toledo East needs.
After the election, I don't see red, blue, white, green. I will help everyone. And they know that I am a person, I have this drive that nothing will stop me. And we have been neglected for too long. So I want to be the person to make the difference.
It is time for change, and Disha will make the difference for Toledo East.
Summer is almost here, and we're gearing up for the exciting time of the year where kids from all over the country come together and showcase their talent on one stage. The Open Your Eyes stage. Yes, that's right. Summerfest is back.
Join us on June 21st at 6:30 a.m. at the Memorial Park in Belize City for a fun-filled morning. Get ready to see all kinds of talent on stage by kids from all over the country. See you at Summerfest 2024.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to to Smart's powered up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
Greetings. On this World Environment Day 2024, I stand before you as your Minister of Sustainable Development and Climate Change with a message of hope and action. The theme for this year, land restoration, desertification and drought resilience, calls us to unite in safeguarding our precious land and natural resources. Belize, our home, is facing challenges posed by land degradation, desertification and drought, threats that require urgent attention and collective effort. It is imperative that we take a stand to protect our environment, for it sustains us all. Together, we can make a difference by promoting sustainable land management practices, engaging in reforestation efforts, and implementing water conservation measures. We can build resilience and ensure a more secure future for our children. Let us commit to being stewards of the land, guardians of our environment. Together, let us work towards a greener, more sustainable Belize. Happy World Environment Day 2024.
The MORE campaign is making waves across the country, highlighting institutions that go above and beyond for their students. We've traveled to every corner of Belize to tell the stories of deserving schools and students. This week, we visited the ITSAT Academy right here in Belize City. Despite opening its doors only a year ago, the school embodies the essence of the MORE campaign across all pillars defined by the Ministry of Education. Sabrina Daly stopped by to see what the STEAM Academy is achieving under the pillar of creativity and innovation. And if you know anything about ITSAT, STEAM is indeed where it's at. Here's that story.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, and UNICEF.
They call it the Makerspace, a place where ideas transform into reality. In this room, first form students engage in activities ranging from coding for robotics and woodworking to 3D printing. Lionel Palacio, the key learning area teacher at ITSAT Academy, oversees this innovative space with an additional particular focus on digital art.
So the class currently right now is called Maker. And Maker allows the students to tinker with the different type of tools and skills and produce tangible stuff.
Students are busy creating a logo for a business. Palacio explains that the curriculum provides an integrated learning experience where each subject seamlessly connects with others.
Most of our subjects or courses are connected. So students work on their digital art logo. So this cycle is called Promote It. And they would create a logo in digital art, which is a separate subject, but that very logo, they had to do research on their favorite logo. Once they have learned that, they started to tinker and design their own logo according to their passion. So the objective was, what is your passion? Okay, maybe your one is food. So what type of food? And so you think about, maybe you could create a business. Now you need to create a face for that business, which is the logo.
13-year-old Jaysden Nemhard proudly shows us her project, a logo for her business, Learn Together. Her idea aims to engage students interested in the same projects she is studying.
Well, my idea was that I wanted to have a company that could help students coming into high schools like ours that is basically technology based to learn more about technology. So I think in my company I would teach about the basics of technology, like for students who came from primary schools that you don't use computers. that they could learn before they come to high school, maybe like a summer program or something like that.
So what they're doing now, they're solving out on their own which of these machines will best illustrate their logo. And today is going to be like a test run. So if you're going to run it on the vinyl, it might not come out so good, and so you go back and iterate. Maybe there's something that is cloggy, maybe you need to reduce some tone or color or something, and so you would have done that. So they're basically going to test it on whatever machine they want.
ITSAT Academy exemplifies what competency-based learning can achieve when students are given the opportunity to be critical thinkers and problem solvers.
The reason I'm here is because education is different. It is the future. It is having students have access to state-of-the-art machine, having access to new information, having access to how to become entrepreneurs, autonomous thinkers. And the typical high school can only do that to a limit. An example of this is that one of the core things is teaching them how to research. Allowing them to gather these tools and skills on how to do research is a gateway for them to further their education and also become lifelong learners. And so if we're looking at competency-based, it is more of what the student can do with knowledge and skill and present it in a way that is original, authentic. It's not like a guided activity where everybody's producing the same thing. So it aligns in terms of having our students being competent in what they're doing.
Competency-based learning is also evident in their creative and innovative approach to education. In this class, students engage in collaborative projects and demonstrate digital literacy.
What we do here is the students are allowed their phone, of course with a license. The license allows them to know how to use their phone. They agree to use the phone. So we teach them how to use their devices properly for productivity. And we introduce softwares to them. Instead of using paper, they use their Chromebooks to document their work, to save their work. So because we're getting to a digitized world, allowing the students to be comfortable with that aspect makes it very easy for them to put things in and bring things out.
Christine Koch, the vice principal of the institution, oversees a cohort of 64 students. The Ministry of Education's 4-point scale guides their progress.
We use the 4-point scale that the ministry has. You have emerging, developing, achieving, and mastery. And so what we do is we say, okay, so when you start off and you have never used a laser cutter before, you might be at emerging, so you'll know some of the information, but as we start to teach you and you start to practice, then you start moving up the levels that eventually you don't need a teacher's help. You have now mastered how to use the machines. And so for us, that's what competency is all about. Are you able to do the work?
Elroy Tucker Jr. eagerly shares his prototype and concept with us. Displayed on the screen, he describes a coded animation that, once refined, could support his business idea for an animated game centered around a character with a personality disorder.
My logo is mainly representing the people who have a special disorder called the dissociative personality disorder. My initial idea was to make a video game about it, where you would interact with the world with different personalities inside of one singular host. And it was a really interesting concept to think about, and I hope that I can use the same logo when I make the game in the future.
Interacting with students at the STEAM Academy reveals a bright future for Belize when forward-thinking education is embraced. Koch's goal is to equip students with skill sets that make them highly desirable to employers or capable of creating their own businesses.
So for me, when I see them, my vision of them walking down that stage is for them to be proud and say, yeah, I got my diploma today and tomorrow I already have a job. Or I don't have a job with somebody, but I can make my own business because I can design stickers, I can design logos, you give me a sketch, I can draw it for you. And so for me, that is the vision that I have for an ITSAT student.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology, and UNICEF.
And And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com on both our Facebook and YouTube. I'm Annalyn Apolonio. From all of us here at Channel 5, have a happy and safe weekend. Good night.